Welcome back to your soon-to-be favorite podcast. I'm Angelica.
And I'm Kelsey.
And this is
Here We Grow.
Since Brian started going, yeah.
We'll put that in the bloopers.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's your podcast directly.
You said you were going to do the intro.
It's your podcast.
Hi, I'm Kelsey, and I'm Angelica, and this is Here We Go.
I'm vibing.
Yes.
Yes.
That was great.
And we're Brian.
And we're Brian.
Well, yeah.
Both of us. Hi, guys. We're back. We're here with
Hello.
Brian, if you haven't noticed already.
Hello.
His very distinctive voice. You probably already knew who he was.
Of course. I want
But also, the title probably said who he was.
just want to say thank you guys for having me on this podcast. It's an honor.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to personally congratulate you guys on your first year of a
Yes.
podcast. That is such a great accomplishment.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It doesn't even feel like a year.
It
Like,
really doesn't.
I mean, it feels like a lot of things have happened over the time that we've done the podcast, but it doesn't feel like it's been a whole year.
Mm-mm.
And definitely not 47 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, Brian was our first guest on episode 8, I believe. But he was on a webcam when he recorded with us last. And
It was COVID times, you know.
No.
I know.
That wasn't the reason why. It
I
was
was trying
because
to trick them.
we were trying to figure out like softwares we wanted to use and stuff, which is like a good segue into like have, our growth over a year. But he's here in person today.
I'm just happy to be in person. I get the full experience. I
experience.
got hospitality.
Mhm.
Got everything that I could ask for.
Yeah, I mean, when he came over, we talked for a little bit, and then we sang karaoke. I always say play.
We
sang
karaoke'd.
karaoke. You don't
We-
say sang karaoke?
We karaoke'd.
Oh. well,
Karaoke is the verb.
okay.
My falsetto was supposed to break some windows, but I did not accomplish that today.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
We played karaoke. We karaoke'd, whatever the fuck.
Kelsey, get it together.
And then we ate buffalo chicken dip and watched Impractical Jokers, and here we are. Oh, we moved from some furniture around.
Yes, so as soon as stuff gets picked up, we will have a better setup.
Yes, backdrop coming soon.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, do we want to get started? I don't have a quote of the week, do you?
I thought we did.
This is your job. No, I'm just kidding.
Brian, do you have a quote of the week? This was your job.
Wait, did I
This is
tell
your
you I had a
podcast.
quote of
This
the
is
week?
my podcast now, overtaking it.
I thought we did have a
I
quote
thought
of
so
the week.
too. Hold on, let me search.
Like something early on we had said. Or Brian, do you have one?
Not really, but
Not really.
I was
You
gonna
told him he
say
didn't need to prepare anything.
the topic is differences between male and female friendship.
Yes.
The quote that comes up to my head is a Shakespearean quote. It's basically all the world's a stage, and men and women have many parts. Some have their exits, some have their entrances, but in one time, one person may have many parts.
Wow.
Oh, I love that.
I'm trying to
It's like
find
people
my
in your life for seasons, essentially.
Yeah.
notes. Yeah. So
Have you guys seen that SNL skit with Marcel? What's his name? Marcel? I showed you, and then you showed me. The SNL skit where Colin asked him, like, what, like, the differences between males and female friendships, and he was like, oh my God, like, women are so supportive of each other. Do you guys know where I'm going with this? Women are so supportive of each other. One girl will tell her friend, oh my God, I met this guy, and he robs banks. And the girl would be like, at least he has a passion.
The support
The
is real.
support.
And then he talks about how whenever he goes to the barber shop, the barber will tell him, like, hey, we already told you we can't make you taller. And he's like, see, guys are so mean to each other.
Yeah, we'll
Then he
talk
goes-
about that.
Then he goes, that's why I go to the salon.
Oh, yes, I do remember that now. Now that you got to the punchline.
Where have you been? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my god, it's so good. Watch this.
No, but yeah.
I was like, what happened? I looked down.
No,
I
I
was
think.
just trying to think of something.
Well, I think there are key characteristics between a male and female friendship. I think female friendships are very face to face. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
I think male friendships are very side to side. We like doing things together. Activities. So there are some key characteristics between the two.
That makes a lot of sense, and I never even thought about that.
Really?
Yeah, no. Because I mean, maybe guys too, but like girls, we can just like hang out and do nothing. Sometimes not even talk, and that's like quality time for us.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys probably like some drinks are involved, watching a football game or going bowling or golfing or something.
I remember when we were teenagers, me and Gabby used to lay on her bedroom floor listening to music, and we'd just be staring at the ceiling, like absolutely not talking, not doing anything but listening to music.
Like boys wouldn't do that.
No.
Boys would be outside playing, like
We need to
Interacting
have
a little bit
something on. Like we could have the television on and still not be doing anything, but we're doing that. So.
Yeah.
yeah.
I have some questions we can start with,
Okay.
so that we'll all answer. And you'll go first because you're the guest.
Fun. I got the spotlight in front of me. I'm being interrogated. Nope.
Can you describe some of your closest friendships and what qualities do these friendships have that make them meaningful to you?
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned,
He's ready.
Yeah.
as I mentioned before, a lot of guy friendships are very side to side. I really enjoy activities with my friends. I really enjoy whether it's going to go play pool, hanging out at the garage, whatever we have to do.
The garage.
The garage. Sorry, garage.
The garage.
The garage.
The garage.
No, but some of the characteristics is that we can be doing things together, be side to side, and still have a good time. Or within those activities, like for example, my cousin Louise, I love that shout out Louise. I love that we can work out, but still also have a meaningful conversation in between sets, and we're doing things, talking about stuff, and that's.
I think
what
Luis
enjoy.
mentioned on his episode, like the gym being kind of like a therapy for him because you guys go and you guys talk and stuff like that in between.
Yeah, and I enjoy my friendships with guys and girls as well. So I have some friends for both, where we can just go do things, catch up, or just do nothing, and it's still a fun time.
Yeah.
So.
You want me to read it again?
Yeah.
Can you describe some of your closest friendships? What qualities do these friendships have that make them meaningful to you?
Qualities are probably like emotionally charged. There's a lot of emotions connected to it.
Yeah.
A lot of caring. Problem solving. I can't just vent to my friends. They gotta have a solution.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's.
I would say like has to be able to like have deep conversations and not just be surface level, because then you're like an acquaintance, like you're not really a friend.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I mean by like emotionally charged. Like you gotta have like your select few friends that like you can go to for anything, and like you can talk about the same topics over and over again, and it's not like bad,
right? And not just emotionally charged, but like emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
Be able to articulate what you're trying to say and feel and all that stuff.
Emotional intelligence is very important, because like there are some friends that I could FaceTime real quick. They may not answer right away, but when we do, I can tell
FaceTime
them.
them right now. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say like.
Nah, they out here living their lives.
It's a Saturday night.
It's a Saturday night.
We called Maria on the fly last episode and she answered.
But I feel like that's a key characteristics of female friendships. Like I think you guys can call your female friends and they'll pick up, and then they'll stay on the phone with you for hours on end. And
guys will be like, I'll call back later.
Yeah. Well, guys will be like, I'm not doing anything right now, bro, but you want to go do this with me, and then we'll pick it up right back up. So that's
weird.
I know it's a little different.
Yeah.
I can't say that I have spent hours with a guy on FaceTime.
Have you spent hours with a girl?
No, that's not my girlfriend. No.
Wow.
I was just gonna say that Angelica and I spent an hour and 50 minutes total on the phone earlier today, even though we knew we were gonna see each other today. And then I came over an hour early for the podcast.
No, for real.
Yeah, Kelsey and I will spend hours on the phone.
Yeah.
Because it's like if I have something to say, or if they have something to vent, we're doing stuff, and we're also doing that as
but
well.
I think
I was just going to say I'm very selective about who I'm on the phone with, too. Like, I don't like talking on the phone. I've even told my aunt recently I don't like talking on the phone. She's like, you don't talk on the phone with anybody? I'm like 2 people. Like, my sister and Angelica.
I was going to
like,
say...
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I was going to say that guys, in the first place, I feel like... I'm not a guy, obviously, but, like, I feel like for you guys, it's a little bit more difficult to be vulnerable, so that's why you have to be doing something else. Mm-hmm. With the vulnerability. Like, it can't just be silence. Yeah, it can't just be you two talking about your feelings. Like, something else has to, like, if it gets awkward or if it gets too sad or whatever, we're doing something.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a safe boundary.
Yes, and that is a fair point. I mean,
like a fail-safe almost.
Really is a fair point. It also depends on, I know Kelsey mentioned this a little bit about emotional intelligence. Where are you guys in your friendship? Is this a person that you just talk sports with, who you would not, vent to outside of what are the Pacers doing? But if go this Pacers. Is, of course, go Pacers. If this is an individual that you've confided on, you can have both ways. We can have a face-to-face conversation, but then we'll go back to playing pool or something. But I don't know. I know what you meant.
When you're going through like a crisis or something, is one of your first thoughts like, I gotta go call blah 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 and talk to him? So
see, the thing is, I think with guys, when they have a girlfriend, that is their emotional. I think, and don't get me wrong here,
that's in the research.
I think female friendships are emotional, which is awesome, and I think with guys it's not that. So we can confine on our significant others, whoever that may be, for that emotional support. So therefore, we won't need it from our guy friends.
But then who do you confide to about your significant other?
That is where it becomes difficult. Because
he's not going to say that on the podcast. Kylie's listening.
That's where it becomes. I'm
kidding.
I've got people, but like it's not like I'm going to go out of my way. Like if I have an issue with my girlfriend, we solve it together. We don't. Right. I don't just go to someone else and say, "Solve it for me."
Yeah. So, but sometimes it's not about solving it. Sometimes it's just about like, I'm just not understanding her, or like we're going through a really rough patch. It's not really about solving a problem. It's just about getting your feelings out about it. Like there's sometimes we talk about things where we're not solving a problem. We're just like, oh, this just really fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I think for guys that's difficult.
Yeah.
If it's not another female friend, because I can confide things on with some female friends, of course, but it's easier to do it that way because they are understanding. They come with a sense of empathy towards certain situations. But guys, it's a little harder.
Yeah.
It's just a little harder.
Well, that brings me to my next question.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it harder?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
I've got stuff. Have you ever experienced any challenges or obstacles in your friendships? If so, how did you navigate them? Ooh. Take a drink.
Yes and no. I mean, I have people that I could go years without speaking to, and it's still that same energy. They know that I'll be there for them. I'm just a text away type of deal.
Yep.
So I haven't necessarily had many difficult challenges as an adult, but as a teenager, when I was younger, absolutely. There was always challenges, difficulties when it came to that.
Like what?
Well, we can take it back to when I was a youngin', right? I think boys, when they're very young, they come from a place of emotion. My very first friend ever, his name was Guillermo, is back in California. And I remember my mom told me a story where in San Francisco, it's like 7 street blocks away to get to school. So, you walk, there's no school buses, like everything's nearby.
Oh, wow.
And so after school, generally the parents would come through, pick up the kids, then we'll walk home. Well, Guillermo's mom didn't show up that day. We didn't know what was happening. I mean, it was way before the age of just texting a mom right away. You know what I mean? So he was crying. And so my mom said that I just went up to him, like gave him a hug and was like, "It's okay, you're with my friend and my mom will be your mom too if need be." And
I'm literally about to cry. That is so sweet.
And it's different now with the guy.
Is your mom?
Yeah, like, well, we didn't know.
I have a little boy, of course it made me cry.
We were kids and he was crying too, and but eventually his mom came and Everything was
You
fine.
guys are both just there crying. She comes up like, what the fuck happened? I was 5 minutes late.
But
We'll be your family now.
but like when you're a kid,
You're coming home with me.
like boys go through that, right? Like that's a characteristic of a trait of like what you would do as a kid. Like you don't know.
Yeah, innocent.
But something happens, and we can explore.
Yeah, I was gonna
this.
say it's before society got a chokehold on you.
Something happens when you're a teenager as a boy where the switch in mentality, and we can dive into that as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I don't even know if I answered your question.
I think it did.
Yeah,
a little. It
bullets on my
definitely was a good story. Well, were you gonna have
any
something?
hardships?
Yeah.
And how do we navigate it? I'd say I'd had quite a few obstacles with my friends. Because that's the thing, like, especially when you're a kid too. When you're a teenager and like things happen within female friendships, it's a big deal. It's so huge.
It's the whole world.
It's the whole world. Like if you have a best friend breakup, kills you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, your best friend is mad. Like, why is she mad at me? Like, what did I do? Like, she's not listening to me. She's not talking to me. Like, it revolves.
Because she's the most important person in your world, unless you have in a relationship.
Yeah, and I remember like I don't know if she'd care if I talked about this, but my best friend Sophia, it was senior year, and I don't know, I just noticed a change in her, and like she wasn't really talking to me much, and she kind of like would use every chance to just get away from me, and I'm like, what is happening? And she wasn't talking to me, and it got to like a point, I think a week had passed, and I went to the cafeteria, and I straight up asked her, I was like, what's wrong? Like, did I do something wrong? You're ignoring me. And she yelled at me in the cafeteria and walked away, and I was just there left in tears, and I'm like, Sophia, what happened? And then we graduated, and it just never really got resolved. And then that like really killed me. Like, did I do something? Like, I don't know what went wrong. And then, I mean, come to find out, she like got on birth control pills or something, like changed her hormones, and not, you know, she was adjusting. But that was hard. And I think what you have to do is like, I took a step back and said, you know what? There's probably something going on with her.
It's not about me.
It's not about me. Like,
that's actually very mature of you at that age to understand that it wasn't about you.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I don't think I did anything wrong. Like, I've asked her and she doesn't tell me. So I'm sure if I did do something wrong, hopefully she would tell me. Yeah,
that's actually very mature that you knew that, because like I didn't learn until maybe 5 or 6 years ago that like it's actually well known that usually when somebody hurts you, it's not even about you. Like, and that actually helps in situations where you're getting into it with someone. And
well, I think I don't think I was that mature. It was probably like a mixture of that and probably like, they hate me now, so I'm just gonna go kill myself. But not like actually, you know what I mean? Like, oh, whatever.
Dramatically.
Like, they're done with me, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna go.
It's over now anyway.
Yeah, it's over.
I would say the same thing for me. Like, your friends changing back when we were teenagers.
Yes, your friends changing.
Oh. Yeah, especially like your best friend doing something that you haven't done yet, or like just changing their
coming
attitude.
of age stuff, like people's opinions change and
opinions.
Yeah. When your best friend gets a boyfriend.
Oh no. I know too well
when your
about
best
that.
friend gets a terrible boyfriend.
But there's levels to it, right? When you're a teenager versus now, if this situation was to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now.
It's still a problem now, but it's just a different kind of problem.
Right.
Now.
I was going to say, I wish I had the knowledge that I have now back when I was a teenager, because there are so many scenarios that could have played out a lot different.
Yeah.
I think
positively.
Yeah, of course. I think with guy friendships when I was in middle school or high school, it had a lot more to do with feeling threatened or challenged by another individual, but in a negative way, versus being challenged in a positive way, because lots of things come to play, right? Society, the institution itself forces guys to, if you cry, you're considered more feminine. If you do this, that, and that.
Oh my God, you're so right.
So there's a switch that happens in middle school.
Yeah.
And I don't know what quite it is, but it has, I think, a lot of people can blame toxic masculinity, which is a factor of it, but it's not overall the whole thing. It's the institution of the whole place.
I just remembered I did have a quote of the week, and I'm going to pull it up right now.
Well, I was going to say, you bringing up like boys crying and then it be considered feminine, I think, and also too, homophobia takes a play in there too. Like,
Absolutely.
I remember being in middle
Fear
school
of all
and
things
like,
feminine.
yeah. Society just hates women.
So my quote of the week was going to be society, quote unquote, society is not this faceless mob. It's us.
Mm.
Like we say, oh, society is to blame, but it's us. Like we have to change it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job, Kelsey.
Thanks.
Way better than my Shakespearean
episode.
Totally trumped
quote of the week.
Shakespearean. We already had a quote of the week, Kelsey. I don't know if you heard Brian's speech, but
it's fine. It's all right.
Poor dude.
We're gonna get into some more stuff that Brian mentioned. When we get past our questions that I have written down. But the next question is, okay, how do you approach sharing personal feelings and emotions with your friends? Do you feel comfortable discussing sensitive topics with them?
Absolutely.
And we're talking sensitive, like sensitive.
There are a few individuals that I can say that outside of my girlfriend. There are some where it's not an appropriate time or an appropriate space. Can I be an open book? Sure. That's fine. I don't have an issue. But yeah, there are just some select few people that know a lot more than others. And,
yeah. I think it's the same for us too. I mean, whoever you're closest with is who you share the most stuff with.
Yeah, and I think I also like to preface to like, okay, guys, I know this is probably TMI, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And like, I'm so sorry about you, but I'm gonna. I feel comfortable enough to say it.
I tell people all the time, like, there's nothing that's TMI for me. Like, say whatever you have to say, and
I think I'm
not gonna be shocked.
You kind of grow that understanding with your closest friends. Like they share with you that stuff, so then therefore you feel comfortable, and vice versa.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess, can guys have that conversation? Like, I know that there could be situation with poker buddies, right? I know this older guy that does poker, like plays pokers with his buddies, but can't even tell you what his daughter's name is, like of his friend, and things like that. So with those individuals, probably not. If that's the kind of friendship that you have, probably not. But
I was just gonna say that the perspective I have is like Travis and his friends, and if you're one of Travis's friends, I'm sorry, I'm about to call y'all out. So I don't know, do something with it, I guess. But I'm honestly sad for Travis because I feel like he could have better friendships if there wasn't toxic masculinity in the way, and we will get to kind of the pinpoints of that. But where Travis is with his friends is a little tiny bit past surface level. So like, you could call Travis and he'll show up at your doorstep and be there to back you up in a fight. He knows the name of your children. You guys can shoot the shit while you guys are on the game together, but that's pretty much it. You guys can't call each other out on your bullshit. You can't share, emotional things or like vulnerable things with each other. But the calling each other out on the bullshit is really the biggest thing for me, because like in our friendships, we'll sit down and talk to each other, and if you have something to say about something I said, you're like, well, but have you ever thought of it this way though? Because like,
but also I feel like in that in itself, I think girls actually struggle with that as well, if not even more, because with your closest two friends, you can probably call each other out.
Yeah.
But if I'm like good friends with someone, but not like a best friend, I'll follow their Delulu train. I'm like, yes, girl, he's the toxic one. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm there supporting you. Like, whatever you say, whatever you do, I probably won't call her on her shit. But if you're my bestest friend, yeah, I'm gonna call you on your shit.
I think probably it maybe comes from, and I don't know if I'm gonna throw these terms out, but there's signs of healthy friendship. Those are friendships that will challenge you to do better. Whether it's call you out on your shit.
9 times out of 10, if I go to a female friend about something, they'll ride my Delulu train. If I talk to a male friend, they're like, girl. I'm like, shut up. Sorry, go ahead.
But I was gonna say, it seems like to me, and I don't know these individuals here, but it's more of a,
you don't know us?
No, you know the individuals I'm talking about though.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You do know them. I haven't said their names.
Then is this a friendship that is a competition, or is this a friendship that challenges you? Because friendships that
guys like whose dick is bigger.
Friendships. I call it dick swinging. I call it dick swinging. That's my trademark.
Kelsey, can you scoot over a little bit?
Oh, sorry. Belin's in the way, so I can't put my feet in front.
I'm literally like...
I can't put my feet in front because of Belin.
Okay. I was like, sorry, Brian. My legs are cramping up. Belin, honey, move.
No, literally, like, I'll listen to Travis talking to his friends on the game, and they'll start like having a really great conversation, and then someone will ruin it by being like, well, I blah 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 blah, and I'll tell Travis straight up, I'm like, y'all are just sitting here dick swinging, like you're not even having a meaningful conversation,
like they're not really receiving what the other guys
yes
doing.
And it could have been a meaningful conversation if y'all weren't so worried about whose dick was bigger. And it's not even about their dicks, obviously it's not really dick size, but it's like their ego, like whose ego is better, whose ego is bigger.
And those are the friendships that I don't do much outside of, we'll play this game, that's it. Friendships that are competition based versus it'd be different if that was more of a challenging to do better. That would be a healthier kind of friendship, but competition based friendships, like I don't fuck with that.
Travis has a friend, and he doesn't listen to the podcast, but someone who is also friends with him listens to the podcast. I'm sure he's gonna know what I'm talking about. One of Travis's friends, like, Travis will be like, man, it's been raining here all week. And the other friend will be like, over here, though, it's been raining so much more over here. Like, anything is a competition. Anything that Travis says, he'll be like, it's been raining over here way more, though. It's like, okay, I don't give two shits about where it's been raining more. I'm just trying to make conversation. Like, what the fuck? And it's so annoying. Like,
weather's not even
I'm not even the one in the conversation. I'm so annoyed by it, But
yeah, as you know, people that like try to one up individuals or individuals that you'll just kind of look at like, why is this necessary? What is this gonna bring to the conversation?
Well, and what's your ailment that you feel like you need to one up me on the rain? Like, okay, let's go to the next question. That question was, how do you approach sharing personal feelings and emotions? Dick swinging.
That's how.
How do your friendships contribute to your overall well-being and sense of belonging?
It's important. I mean, we are meant to be social individuals. I think that effort comes a long way with friendships. It's easy to see your best friend on social media, watch their posts every day and say, that's good enough. But is that really good enough? No. Putting in that effort is what will contribute to an everlasting and meaningful friendship. So I'm just happy that the individuals that I have in my life put enough effort to keep it going. And I do the same. So, I mean, what else can I ask for, right?
Yeah. I would say adding to that, it's also about like meeting that person where they're at. So like when your friend's going through a tough time and you know that they can't put in enough effort, you're the one to put in a little more effort for them, or understanding that they can't put in very much effort. Anything? You know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Well, yeah. And I agree with that. Like, I remember, I think with what you're saying, I understand that now as an adult, but growing up, I didn't understand that.
No.
Like, I also had another breakup friendship. Her name was Alexa, and we went through those, like, times of neither of us would put effort in. I'm like, well, I'm not going to put an effort in if she's not going to put effort in. Or you know what? I've texted her 3 times now, and she's not responding to me, and I'm just going to drop it. I'm just going to be done with it. But little did I know, I mean, I still don't know, but yeah, she could have been going through some shit, and maybe she needed me to physically be there or reach out.
Wait for you to be ready.
Yeah, exactly. And so back then, you don't have that kind of patience or like that kind of like insight. Yeah. Now you're older, you realize this life thing is fucking hard. And we're all going through it. And something's
very
happening,
nuanced.
Something's happening with somebody, and you know, let me just do a little bit more.
Yeah, I have a friend who told me this week that she's sorry that she's such a shitty friend, and I immediately, you know, reassured her that she's not a shitty friend. And I think her main concern was that she doesn't communicate enough, or that she's not putting in enough quote unquote effort. And I just reassured her and said, like, hey, I'm here. I'm just waiting for you to come here. Like, I'm just waiting for you to be ready to be here. So you let me know when you need me, and I'm here. I just know you're going through a tough season, and I'm here. I just waiting for you to get here. So I don't see you as a bad friend because of that.
Yeah, I also like what Brian said, though, when he said, oh my god, my nose is so stuffed, I can't even talk. I have, like, snot, like, right here. How you said sometimes we look at social media and you see your friends posting and updating stuff, and you're like, well, that's good enough. But it really isn't. Like, yeah, you're keeping tabs on them, and you kind of know what's going on in their lives, but, like, you don't really know, because social media is so fake.
Yeah.
People can post whatever they want.
It's only their best parts.
Yeah, and so I like how you said, like, putting an effort to, like, meet up and hang out and talk on the phone or whatever it is needed to do, because that's what's going to create the meaningful, lasting relationships.
Right.
Because like back in the day, I mean, they didn't have social media. How would you keep up with a friend? You would send them a letter, right? And I don't know how back in the day we want to get, but
Yeah.
you would send them a letter, and that's effort, right?
Mhm.
That's putting in the effort. That's being able to
Yep.
reach out and say, I'm here for you if you need anything.
Yeah. Amen.
All right, the next one is, how do you maintain and nurture your male friendship or your friendships over time, especially as life circumstances change? I think we just said that, yeah.
And you also have to be understanding, like you mentioned, right? I mean, people have different things. Some have children, some are going through different stuff, some are completely happy. But you have to adapt and be able to just nurture it, make sure that everything's preserved.
Right.
Some are completely happy.
Yeah. I mean,
who are they? What's in their coffee?
What's in their coffee? Coffee!
I forgot coffee at the store.
yes, my only complaint is that I didn't get coffee on this show, so you guys will be hearing from my agent.
Damn, I got two creamers, but I don't have any coffee.
You can have some creamer if you'd like.
Yes, I'm just going to chug some creamer.
Oh my god.
All right, next one is, in your opinion, what are some common misconceptions or stereotypes about male or female friendships? How do you challenge or defy these stereotypes in your own experiences?
I think the stereotype is that we are distant with each other. I think a stereotype would be that, right? Because some friendships are not like that, but you just got to know who you can confide in. I mean, some friendships for men is just like, talk about sports, talk about the weather, talk about this surface level, but are those really your friendships?
Right.
But I think that's
so you like making the distinction on your own of who's really your friend or not.
Right. And it's a stereotype that, you know, two guy best friends would just talk about anything other than their emotion and feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about girl friendships?
No, I was just thinking how I think that was my idea until Luis came over and talked about how he has a select few group of guys that he does open up to and how he's emotionally aware, painfully emotionally aware, and how like that was my thinking. Like guys don't share personal shit.
Yeah, and you know, because they'll like the way that you know that this is a friendship that's gonna last is the way that they celebrate your accomplishments. That is a great test, because if you were to go, hey, I got a promotion at my job, and they go, congratulations, like, bro, that is awesome, like, I don't know, I'm just, you know, just saying. But if they congratulate you, they're like, you want to get some drinks, or hey man, let's hug, or I don't know, whatever you do to celebrate, that is a friendship that values what you bring. But if you go, oh, I just got a promotion at the job, oh, how much do you make? 20. Oh, that's nothing, like I make this and that, and, you know, that's not a friendship. You just watch
We're talking to you. Brian's like, not me, I'm not talking to you.
I'm just saying from my personal
Brian
experience.
don't want to smoke.
I'm just saying from my personal experience.
I'll call them bitches out.
But that's my personal experience. Watch how people move. Seriously. Watch how they celebrate. If it's an individual that your biggest accomplishment is like they're going to bring you down a notch, that is someone that you need to get rid of.
Yeah. Or like if you bring up like, hey, I need you to be a better friend to me. I need you. And they're like, well, what do you ever do for me?
Yes, I've heard that a lot too.
And again, those are friendships that
you don't want to keep.
Don't want to nurture.
You don't want this smoke.
What are some stereotypes about
Brian,
female friendships? What are your stereotypes about female friendships? Or maybe stereotypes that you used to have?
I mean, I used to have stereotypes, but that was more rooted in the toxic environment of sexism. You know, females are moody. They're gonna fight and then be fine the next day. But I don't have those views anymore. I mean, that was just a product of my environment at the time, and I'm willing to admit that. You know what I mean? Like most people are not willing to admit that, but I don't have
most men.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. Now I don't. I mean, I've been blessed and fortunate to talk to so many people in so many different lives and friendships that at this point, like,
are you able to witness your girlfriend having good, meaningful friendships?
Absolutely. There are times where there are some traits that they exhibit that I don't
just like
immaturity. But again, it's the level of emotional maturity, intelligence that you have with that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's good. I would say, the whole like, oh, they're moody or it's their hormones. Like, their periods are gonna sink and like all that. That's kind of a good misconception. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Nothing.
What? She's giving me the weirdest look and she's gonna say nothing.
I've never heard anyone say that. Oh my god, their periods are gonna sink.
I've heard the period sink thing, yeah, but I don't believe it.
I've heard on TV and everything. TV recently, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add to that.
I was gonna say too, like I feel like guys think that this may not be a stereotype because it might actually be kind of true. That all girls do is like gossip when they're together, but I mean we do though. So.
Right. But I would say that it's usually more than just gossip.
It's more than just. It's not like a gossip like, oh, so and so's doing terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, did you hear about what happened to blah blah blah? Like
Well, and I would venture to say that the more like heavy on the gossip kind of friendships are in the older generations.
Mm.
Like your mom's generation or before.
Oh my god, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But also, what is the motive of the gossip? Is the gossip to talk shit about someone, or is the gossip just to catch up with what someone's doing?
I think that's what I'm talking about.
And
like,
so,
it's not, oh my god, bowling, you're in the way. Go ahead.
And so, yeah, I was going to say that is probably, I mean, it has a negative connotation when you hear the word gossip.
Yes.
You automatically, like, everyone's just wired to think,
Talk
oh,
shit.
yeah, they're talking shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But gossip could also be, oh,
I'm really worried about this person.
Kelsey just had a baby.
Well,
and
that's
Angelica's
what I'm
going
saying.
through.
So, like, out of the friend group that we have, me and Kelsey are the closest. So we get together and like, oh, did you hear that? Or this is experience that I had with Kelsey or Kathy, or this is what the conversation I had with Stephanie, and I would go and update her, or like, oh yeah, Maria's my sister, so I would go and tell Kelsey about, oh, Maria and I had this conversation,
or did you hear that Maria did this, or whatever. Like we're just updating each other,
and that's
or
different.
sometimes exhibiting like worry, like
I'm
really worried about this person, like they're going through a tough time, like we should try to
show
do
up,
something,
right? And that's way different than being like, oh, this person, did you hear that they are doing this, that, and that behind this person's back? You know what I mean? Like.
A caddy.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that with a guy? Like, hey man, like Steve's really going through it. I think we should like throw him a birthday party.
That's so random.
I don't know why they came out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, those are conversations that need to be addressed. So, I mean, I've had those instances where we've had to come together and save a homie, but outside of save a homie, but
t-shirt,
yeah,
merch, buy the merch. Did you know that they have merch?
Guys, did you know?
Hey, when Brian pulled up, he saw the magnet on the back of my Jeep. He's like, oh, this magnet's cool. I'm like, it's on the merch store. So go get you a car magnet.
You were supposed to be doing a British accent.
Oh.
Right. Do you know that they have merch?
That's Australian.
The right was Australian. Right. Then you went to British.
Right.
Right. Down under.
Right, mate.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, one of the most shocking things that I learned when I was doing research was that okay, so we gotta go into toxic masculinity. We gotta go to
toxic masculinity.
We're gonna t-shirt.
Toxic salmonella.
Toxic salmonella.
Yeah. We gotta go into toxic masculinity just a little bit because it's really connected, like we have been talking already, with how men are friends with each other. And there's a guy. His name is Dr. Ronald Levant, and he's done a ton of research. He's written a book with another co-writer about how, and he calls it traditional masculinity, something else. It's abbreviated TMI.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Masculinity itself is not toxic.
Mm.
Just that's why he calls it traditional
really
masculinity.
Important to say that. Go ahead.
So they've done a lot of research on traditional masculinity and how it affects people in modern day, because now society has changed and like we're not changing our expectations for men along with it. And one of the like craziest things that I learned while I was listening to some of the stuff of the research that he's done is the correlation of toxic masculinity and violence. And something they found in some research is when you go to like mass shooters, so like school mass shooters or whatever, whenever they go and raid their home after the mass shooting, they almost always find a manifest, a journal, something like that, where they explain in detail how their masculinity has been challenged or they had been bullied or something like that, to the point belittled, and that has caused them to reinforce their masculinity. And something that you were saying earlier kind of connects to that, where you were saying, like, if someone is like challenging your masculinity as a teenager, then you feel like you need to reinforce it and like double down. And then that causes tension between you and your male friend.
Right.
And then me and Angelica were talking about earlier, what was it in the Jeep that we were talking about? You said, I
said a lot of things. Like, I forgot to get a car wash.
Yes, the root cause of toxic masculinity, not getting a car wash.
You said something about like having a disagreement, and then I was like, yeah. Oh, then they'll never bring it up to each other.
Oh,
and then that causes that tension, and then after that tension has subsided, they then don't feel comfortable being vulnerable with each other because then they don't trust each other.
Male wise.
Yeah, male wise.
Or
so
like
I thought that was
something
really
will
interesting.
happen. Like, I don't know. This might be another stereotype. Like, because I've seen it. Like with guys, if something happens or they feel disrespected or something, whatever, they have an argument or something, they kind of just walk away from it and kind of let it be and let time pass. But they never like bring it back up and talk about it. They kind of just. But now you know that guy's not a safe space anymore. You don't trust him, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna.
And then your friendship is just surface level.
And then it becomes. It's like you're downgrading on the friendship scale.
Mm-hmm.
But can you imagine how many problems can be solved by just speaking to them about the issue?
Yes.
And yes,
actually.
Yes. But yes, when you're in the heat of the moment, I mean, it's individual case by case, but when you're in the heat of the moment and your masculinity is being threatened, you're going to show out, especially with like you think you have an upper hand, and that leads to fights and things like that, right? But if you guys just speak it out, realize that whatever we're mad about can be solved together, it can change.
Well, and that goes back to emotional intelligence, though, because then if you're not talking to someone who has a high level of emotional intelligence, then they can't receive what you're saying,
That's true.
and then they become defensive, and then it really never gets solved.
It might even get worse.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is get you friends with emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Honestly, yeah.
That's the baseline.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to have meaningful relationships, you got to have them with friends who have high emotional intelligence.
Yeah. I mean, can I say as a teenager that I had emotional intelligence?
No.
Absolutely not.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely
teenagers.
not. Now, sure.
Yeah.
I can consider myself that, but
yeah.
There are so many things that I wish I could go back with the knowledge that I have now. I could have changed things back in then.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear, like, if someone's telling me something, a story of some, like, a problem they're having with a friend, or someone who's not even a friend, doesn't matter, a problem they're having with another person, say, like, my sister or something, and she's just going on and on about this problem, and in my head while I'm listening, I'm like, this is not even the problem. Like, what you're talking about right now is not the problem. There's this huge bigger picture that no one is seeing in this situation, and until you both see that bigger picture, like, nothing's going to get resolved, nothing's going to change. It's not about these little individual things. It's about the bigger picture of your friendship or whatever the situation is. And so I feel like I wish I would have had that when I was younger, because I can look back at when I was 18, 19 years old. I thought I knew everything. I thought I had a handle on everything. I thought I knew what I was doing, but
why do we
certainly
have that
didn't.
mentality as a teenager? Why do we think that? Because there's no way.
Yeah. Like, who told us we had that power?
Yeah.
The pressure is that you are so close to adulthood that you are more likely to say, well, I'm grown, I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Even though you technically aren't, and your brain still doesn't develop till you're 25.
Well, and you're given the power to be a quote-unquote adult.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think also trying to be individualistic as well comes to play. I know we talked a little bit about that with American society, right? Individualism. So I think that it's the institutions that we have here that are causing these rifts and causing teenagers to go through those situations. People will say, well, back in my day, we didn't have that. But yes, you did. It was just in a different way, you know? So
yeah. Yeah. I hate that. Oh, back in my day, we didn't blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yes,
you did.
Or not only yes, you did, but like, that's why it was back in the day. Because it's different than today. If you haven't noticed. Things are real different around here, guys. You guys want to take a break?
Yes.
All right. I have a question for Brian that's not related to the topic.
Brian!
It's
11:11, make a wish.
Okay.
The question is, so if most of you guys won't know this, but I haven't actually seen Brian face to face in 13 years since I was a junior in high school.
I saw him 4 months ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say Angelica's seen him more recently, but I haven't seen him in 13 years. So the question is, knowing us back then and knowing us now, like what differences do you see in us?
That's a good question.
I know.
Wow. Catching me off guard.
I'm gonna make a clip of that.
Catching me off guard, but I guess I'll go one by one. No, Kelsey, I've seen you grow so much from now. I'm so happy about, like, you've always kind of been a mom of the group, and now that you have grown into being a
I'm
mother,
still the mom of the group.
you're still a mom of the group, but you've also kind of, just became a mom. So I'm so proud of you and Travis for being able to bring a child into this world and kind of work through everything. And, I mean, you guys have been so committed, not only to the podcast, but to your guys' lives, that I just can't really be more happy than that. And this is also coming from the fact that I've known you guys dating from junior year too. So,
yeah, that's true.
So
yeah. So
right.
yeah, Brian knows Travis too and saw us in our first dating stages.
No.
But,
yeah. And then
Angelica?
for you, Angelica, I mean,
she's like, that's such a good question. And now she's like, don't look at me.
no, I mean, perseverance, I mean, trials and tribulations, but you will always come up top, persevere through everything, and matured as well throughout that.
That was so short compared to Kelsey. It's all good. It's fine.
No. Do you want me to go out here and spill all the business?
No,
I was going to say she's kept her sweetness from then to now.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The whole time. Like, literally, I remember that I visited you at the hospital and you were like...
What?
When I got my jaw surgery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Visited you at the hospital, but you were like so ashamed and like, you were like, don't look at me. No, but
remember we mentioned surgery on an episode recently? You're like, yeah, that's because I got surgery. And I'm like, people are going to think you had plastic surgery. You don't want to elaborate? You're like, no.
No.
Now you know. It was jaw surgery.
I think you were the only person that visited me in the hospital.
Don't say that.
I didn't know you had jaw surgery until after you had it.
You're joking.
I'm not joking. I really didn't.
Don't say that.
One day you showed up and your face looked different and I was like, what the fuck?
You were the only person that came visit me.
But also you look real cute too.
No, I was anxious to go visit you because, like, I was texting you. Well, you might have been just high off the fucking drugs, but I was texting you like, "Do you need anything? Like, can I bring something? Like, where are you?" And then you're like, "No, everything's fine. We got it covered." Blah blah blah. And then
maybe I didn't tell you.
Just pop me my boob.
Maybe I didn't tell you.
I showed up. I showed up, and your mom like finally got a break to go do something. I don't know.
She couldn't wait to leave.
She like left. I was like, okay. Here I am. So,
my mom's always trusted you, like innately. My parents.
Really? Oh.
Do you remember one time we went out somewhere and we stayed out till like 4 a.m?
Well, of course. I mean, we were out there doing like.
But they weren't allowed to do that otherwise, with anyone else.
No one else. And then we
Not
came
even
home.
me.
We came home at 4 a.m. I was like, oh my God, my parents are going to kill me. You walked me up to my door. You had a conversation with my dad. It was all fine and dandy. They weren't mad or anything. And I'm like, I'm 16. It's 4 a.m. What is happening? And they loved you.
Oh, maybe I'm a Figueroa, so maybe
I think that's kind of like they just innately trusted you.
They're like, you know what? Somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
And I've used that, like, not against them, but like, if I was out with Jose till like 1 a.m, I'm like, well, I was out with Brian up till 4. So but you're not Jose. Jose's not you. So
yeah. All right. Well.
So what have we learned today, guys?
We've learned that Angelica had jaw surgery, and that's the surgery she was referencing the last time.
Well, this is a good segue to what I said earlier in the kitchen, how having healthy, like as a female, like heterosexual relationships, as a female, it's good to have those healthy male friendships because it affects how you date and vice versa. Mm-hmm. It's good for males to have, my nose is getting stuffed up. Healthy for males to have healthy female friendships because it helps them in dating. Oh, God.
You said it's healthy for males to have healthy female friendships.
No, yeah.
Which is true, but you didn't have to say it so many times.
Like, this knot is right here.
Something I want to add to that is we had said, actually kind of recently, I was saying, like, you need to, like, hang out with Brian some more because you need more, like,
Positive
good male energy in your life.
I think I told you that.
To show you that, like, there are good males out there, like, you know, you have good male energy in your life.
Yeah.
So that adds to your comment a little bit.
Bro, let's go.
Bro, you're my friend again, so sorry about you. I've already decided.
Guys, I've made it.
Yep.
But it's true, though, like, having those positive
really
male friendships.
And, like, what's crazy is, like, I would think, like, when I was a kid, right, I'd have female friends. I didn't know any better, but, like, I would hug them or hold their hand, and, like, society would dictate and be like, oh, you guys are gonna get married, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But it's kind of sick that like kids get sexualized in that way.
I brought that up last time, where, like, someone will look at a pretty little girl and be like, oh, she's gonna be a heartbreaker, or a little boy, like, oh, she's gonna be a heartbreaker. Like, what the fuck?
Seriously, like,
stop doing that.
I've got, like, says, what are these dimples? Dimples. And, like, the older women would be like, oh, you're gonna be so handsome, would, like, touch me and shit, and, like, my mom would, like, let that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's almost like a gloating thing.
Cash has dimples.
It's almost like a gloating thing as a parent. Like, you want people to say your kid's cute. Which, okay, fine.
Cute and adorable is one thing.
But don't touch them while you're doing that. And second of all, don't project your predictions for my life in the future. Like, oh, it's going to be a heartbreaker. Like, oh, he's going to have lots of girlfriends. Like, what?
Stop thinking about the relationships that I'll have in the future when I'm 4.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing that I've always appreciated is that I've had a great mix of guy and girlfriends as well throughout my life. And I know going into high school, like when I went to Washington Township before I went to Broad Ripple. And so my very first friends were females. They're from the theater group, and they brought me in and they made me feel accepting and stuff. So I've always appreciated that aspect of female friendships, that they're just accepting. They're able to let you show your emotions and stuff. So I think that's healthy for a guy and girl.
Well, in the same way, though, the reason that you're accepted into girl friend groups is because you have shown that you're a safe space to girls. And still true to this day. Like, me looking back on our friendship when we were younger, when we were teenagers, if I had to pick a couple of male friends that were safe spaces, you would, like, definitely be probably number 1 on the list.
For sure.
I would say maybe along with Joseph and Rob. But yeah, like that's why you got accepted into female friendships, is because you show that you're able to show and, like, expel as, like, an energy that you're a safe space. And
well, that just goes to, like, show you, like, you know, there's that really old argument, can males and females be friends?
Just
and it's
friends,
like, yes, you can, as long as you don't cross boundaries, as long as you don't cross that line, and we all know what line we're talking about.
Right.
And I think I saw this post where it says something like, you know, as a girl, I'm so appreciative of those male friendships that never turn sexual, never turn flirtatious, and that were just simply a friend, a safe space. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And again, the importance of having healthy male energy in your life that is a safe space is important, because like if you're not getting that from anywhere else, you need that, especially for women who didn't get that from their father.
Oh my God, yes.
I think with female friendships, like in a guy, they falls maybe onto 3 different categories, and I don't know if this is maybe just me putting things into boxes, but you have your, like, one of the bros, one of the homies, like female friendships with a guy that it's like you kind of treat them like a guy in a weird way, like not in a weird way, but in that way where you would, like, mess with them or, like, you know, challenge them to do better and, like, do that because that's one of the bros. And then you have a vanilla friendship with a female that's like one that you would probably meet through a significant other, where it's like they're friends and you're just kind of like on a hey I'm doing all right,
like an acquaintance almost,
an acquaintance type. And then there's the friends with benefits friend that, you know, it's strictly sexual, like this is what it is, nothing more. And I think that goes on to say with your point about boundaries, like once you establish the boundaries, once you establish the expectations, I mean, it can work between a guy and a girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. What the fuck was that?
Okay, we're gonna take a break.
Yeah. I don't know.
And we're back.
Ooh.
What? Okay. Where were we? What were we talking about?
I think I was categorizing like different guy and girl friendships, but through my perspective, I don't know if that. I don't know. Would you guys?
I would kind of say.
Would you guys say that that's right on the nose?
I would say that's pretty right.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah.
Vanilla friends. I've never heard that.
It's. I mean, yeah, like you meet them through your significant other, and it's very much like,
hey, how are you? Yep, good.
Very cordial, very surface level. Like, oh hi, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Huh.
But it's a friendship that you must have. I mean, your female, like not your female, but your significant other.
Yeah.
Has them as friends.
So therefore, by association. Don't do that, Kelsey.
Oh, I know. This or yawning?
Neither.
Okay.
You don't like a little AMSR?
No. Oh my God. When we were eating the cake.
Oh yeah. We didn't even think of it while we were doing it.
No, I did. I would take my bite right here, or I would take it way back here. You'd be like,
oh my God, this is so good.
And then she started moaning. I'm like,
did you listen back? Because I cut most of it out.
I know you did, but I heard the original version. I was like,
so she listened.
She was there.
Yeah, I was there.
So she listened back for cut. I don't know why I took this off. She listened back for cuts and would give me timestamps on what to cut out. And she was like, there's this part where we're eating cake. I hate it so much. Like, cut this much out or whatever. And I cut like most of it because we were just like, oh yeah, this is so good. Yeah, this was $8.99 at Meijer. Yeah, chocolate cake. Bolin can't have any.
The only ASMR that I love is dogs. Like dogs eating stuff. I love it. So cute.
That's worse.
No.
No.
It's a little interesting. Let's explore it. Let's
Angelica
explore
will
that.
also watch a video of Bolin barking over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
No. Okay. No. Yes and no. Anything that I post on social media, I watch everything, and each time I watch it, I'm looking at like a different corner. I'm looking at a different background option. I'm putting myself in the head of the viewer. Like,
she's an artist. That's what this
thank
is.
you.
Oh my God.
She's an artist.
Or she's very worried about what people are thinking of her house and her dog.
Absolutely. Like,
she's an artist.
I have profile pictures on Facebook. It's a selfie of me, and in the background, one of my sheets on my bed are ripped. But I look so cute in them, I'm not going to delete them. So now I'm like very hyper vigilant about what's in the background. Like if it's a mess in the background, I won't post it.
You heard it here, folks. Docs her. No, I'm just kidding.
Angelica needs new sheets.
And how can she get new sheets? By buying merch.
We've got sheets on the merch store.
Did you know that Here We Go podcast has merch?
Did you know?
Did you know we have merch?
We have a new merch store.
We do have a brand new merch store that we released the day before our podiversary.
We have dog bandanas, phone cases, magnets, stickers, a hoodie, some new shirts.
A full zip hoodie, let me say that.
A full zip hoodie.
We specifically wanted a full zip hoodie. A couple of different t-shirts with different designs, not just the logo.
A cap.
Yep.
I mean, that's it.
And we'll be adding more. I mean,
yeah, so go
there's
buy
infinite possibilities on there.
Buy all of them.
Of course, buy it for whoever.
And the prices are better on this website than on our original merch store. So go check it out. And more colors too. So anyway. Okay, so I have this article that I wanted to read in regards to male friendships. It says, so this is in the perspective of a woman who's married to a man.
Ew.
Wow.
It was such a visceral response.
Sometimes things just come out of my mouth.
That's true.
We found her trigger word.
This is in the perspective of a woman married to a man. Ew.
Sorry, God.
I'm surprised you didn't gag. Jeez. Okay.
I'm very traumatized, as you can tell.
When we got married, this is the article. When we got married, my husband had a quote unquote bachelor party that consisted of 5 guys going out to dinner together. There was no heavy drinking or roasting the groom or naked women jumping out of a cake. Just guys sitting around talking about life. This group has been meeting regularly ever since, taking turns hosting brunch so that they can chat for hours, sharing the joys and struggles of their lives. They call themselves the Men of Merit, or moms. And they have been there for each other through thick and thin for over 30 years now. Having an intimate group of friends that seems to be a rare thing for men these days. In fact, according to a recent American survey report, men have fewer social ties overall than they used to, with only 27% of men in 2021 saying they had at least 6 close friends compared to 55% in 1990. This suggests men may be suffering a friendship recession that is likely affecting their health and happiness.
I have thoughts on friendship recession, especially when it comes to data from like older times to new times. So the way that we view friendships and the way that we obtain friendships are a lot different now. I mean, it is true that now people have less friends than they did back in the day, but it also has a lot to do with, okay, back in the day they would go to a church. Back in the day they would go to different institutions where they can meet friends. Versus now where it's a little different in that aspect. But I mean, yes, the statistics back that, but I think a lot of effort is where it lacks.
Yeah.
Because you can have lots of friends.
The thing that I found very interesting about that article is that explains our friend group to the T. When we get together, it's kind of funny actually that when we tell other people, oh, we're having girls' night tonight, we call it girls' night. Oh, we're having girls' night tonight. They think we're going out to have fun out in a bar, drink, dance, whatever. But no, we're having PowerPoint presentations on what to catch up on our lives for the past 2 months because we haven't seen each other. And then we overanalyze and underanalyze everything everyone has said. We have to make sure everyone has time to talk and give what they need to say. We make dinner, or we bring food for dinner in, and
it can last
we
like
cry.
6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we'll sit here for hours and to make sure that we get everything in. It's insane.
That's funny because when you mentioned that you had a girls' night, I did not envision you guys going out. I envisioned you guys
sitting
chilling
here
at the house.
Yeah,
well, because you know us personally.
Yeah, you know us. Yeah,
but like other people I've mentioned, and they're like, "Oh, like where you guys going?" Like my
house to eat and cry. What are you talking about?
Girls' night?
It's literally like therapy for us.
Yeah,
like.
It really is.
We literally let out all the things we've been
lighter.
holding in for 2 months or whatever, waiting for the right time to like tell somebody. And we have our closest friends there to support us in whatever we need to say and let off of our chest. And
going back to what you said, Brian, about how like back in the day you'd go to institutions to make friends. So, and you mentioned like we have less friends. I think it's like we're more focused on quality friends than quantity of friends, because back in the day when you go to an institution, like you said, for example, church, like let's use that as an example, you would go there thinking that we all had the same values, and if you spoke up, you were a black sheep, so you kind of didn't. So those truly became surface level, but they weren't good quality friendships. Whereas now you can actually choose your friends. There's social media. You can meet up with people. I mean,
you can be picky.
Absolutely.
You can be, you have the ability to be picky. You have the, oh shit, what's the word?
Let us help you.
I don't know.
You have the
luxury of being picky.
Okay. Like, let us help you figure it out.
And of course, those are the differences between the two, right?
Yeah.
So
it's really not a friend recession necessarily.
It's an effort recession.
Yes, it's an effort recession.
Because you can have 20, 30 friends.
Right.
But how much effort, how much time? I mean, you only have so much time in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other topic I had was how female friendships affect motherhood versus male friendships affecting fatherhood. And something I would personally like to see more in male friendships is accountability for fatherhood. From my experience of what I've witnessed, I feel like I think they should talk more about fatherhood with each other and give advice more, and like not like unwarranted advice, but like be caring enough for your friend's child to say, oh, you could try it this way and that might help you. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel for Maria's children and Stephanie's child as much as I feel for my child. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't feel that is the same in like some of Travis's friendships.
I was going to say, I think it's hard because I can't really give advice on having a kid since I don't have a kid myself. So I don't feel like maybe it's my place to give that. Now, if I were to be asked about it, then sure, I'll try my best, but I don't know if that maybe will help shed a light there.
I was going to say, in my experience, because I don't have kids, but like in what I've seen, the mom takes, especially with the kid when they're early on, and I've heard guys say this, you know, a guy typically doesn't get too much involved in their kid's life until they're able to do stuff with them, until they're able to like be old enough to be taken to the park or, you know, messing around with them. So in the, let's say, newborn at 3 to 4 years old, heavily reliant on the mom. So I feel like you talking about how a guy giving another guy advice, like, oh, have you tried it this way? Well, first of all, he may not even know what the fuck to even offer up. So I think if you are a more involved dad and you see your friend struggle, like, initiate that then. Like, hey, man, like, have you done this? Or, like, you know, me and my wife or me and my girl do this. Or it takes that first step to open up. And it's don't make it a dick swinging contest. Don't be like, oh, well, my kid doesn't do that. My kid does this. It's like, no, we're all, you know, different levels going through shit.
Do you think it has something to do with like what we talked about a little bit at the beginning of the podcast where guys will make connections doing things versus women would more face to face?
Just more talk and that's true.
You mean like with the like being involved in the kids' lives? Yeah.
Because like I feel like you know, a father would go do things with them, but it's not to say that a mother wouldn't do that either. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this too, and I don't know if this has anything to do with the topic really, but like, I feel like mothers, and I'm not a mom, so I don't know shit about fuck, so let me just throw it out there, but like women who breastfeed, I feel like because women breastfeed, it almost doesn't allow the dad to have a role in the feeding, and so I feel like when they're pumping and the dad's able to give a bottle, it's almost more equally. I'm not a mom, but I don't know shit about fuck.
I confirm that.
Exactly. So you know what I mean? So like, it's, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but that's something that they could be involved in.
One of the deciding factors in Cash being on formula, I mean, there was a lot of things happening in the hospital in the beginning that kind of forced us into formula, which I don't care. Like he's great healthy child, so I'm not worried about that he was on formula at all. I don't think that there's any difference either way, but one of the deciding factors was that I didn't want to be my child's only sole source of food.
Yes. Because
then that would be taking away from the bonding that Travis would have with him, and it would be taking away from any time that Travis could offer me away to myself.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Like, that's kind of what I wanted to say. Yeah. I'm not a mom, so I can't say that, but I've picked up on that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that would go for pumping moms as well, but formula moms or like pumping moms. Yeah. Pumping moms, pump it up. pump it up. You know that song, right?
Yeah, it was just kind of funny you see me do that. It reminded me of the balloon in the aisle.
The what?
The balloons in the aisle.
Oh. Oh my gosh. At the ball yesterday. Okay, let me say something about the ball real quick.
We didn't even talk about our week or anything.
No, we didn't. Clip this to the beginning.
Kelsey, then Brian, then me.
So
and when was the last time you cried?
Yeah, I meant to ask you that. But wait, just hold on.
Think about it.
Yeah, think about that.
Give me time.
So yesterday, my family was the featured family to be honored at the annual American Heart Association Heart and Stroke Ball. And it was their 100th year for the American Heart Association. And they had this ball. It was at the Indianapolis Marriott. It was huge. There was like 300 people there. And we were featured because of Ava's condition. If you've heard Ava's story, I believe I told it on the attachment style story on the episode.
Yeah, I think so.
So episode 27, if you haven't heard Ava's story. But basically, Ava got a heart transplant last year. That's my younger sister. She's 10. She got a heart transplant on October 27th last year. And because she's a really great success story, they wanted to feature her story because research that has been funded by the American Heart Association directly affected her in the way of transplant and all the things that have happened to her before transplant, blah, blah, blah. So we went to this ball. It was really amazing, and we drank a lot of alcohol. And they're offering a lot of alcohol because they wanted people to bid.
Like, we didn't drink; they offered it to us.
I had 3 different drinks on my table at some point because they were just really just sending them out. And then there was an open bar, and it was all this stuff. I forgot why I even brought up the ball.
Well, we're talking about a week, right?
Before that, though, I was like, "Oh, let me say." I remember when I did like this.
Oh.
So Ava, she was so funny because she knew she was being like featured, and they had a video of her, and then she went on stage and she talked to everybody on the microphone and stuff. And every time they mentioned her before they announced her up on stage and we were sitting at our table, every time they mentioned her, like, oh, you're going to meet this 10-year-old kid. She got a heart transplant. Her name's Ava. Anything during the whole time, she would like pump her arms up like, yeah, like that's me.
Gosh.
And then at some point we were
so
like,
cool.
When there would be like a point where we like the whole room would be clapping, all of our table would clap because my sister and my mom and my dad were there. We would be clapping, and then Ava goes, bruh, they're clapping for us. We don't have to clap.
Bruh.
I'm like, yes, we do have to clap.
We don't have to clap. We're not like them.
Yeah. And so I leaned over to my mom. I was like, you're going to have to work on her ego when you get home. She's going to have a huge ego after this. And people were coming up to her and be like, you look so beautiful tonight. Congratulations on your heart and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm sure her ego was super boost by the end of the night, but she seemed like she had a good time. But yeah, that was last night.
She's been through a lot.
She has. She's a teenager now, even though she's only 10 years old. We were at the salon getting her hair done, and she went first, and I'm just looking at her, and she's just like sitting in her chair like this on her phone, like.
She has a phone?
Yeah, she has a phone. Yeah.
I didn't even have a phone at that age.
No, I didn't. It's definitely like further and further back the more that, future comes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but she just looked like such a teenager sitting in the salon chair getting her hair curled on her phone, like talking to her friend on her phone.
Talking about funny. What?
Well, and also like my parents have they don't have any other kids, so like Ava really gets kind of treated. Well, I mean,
no, I know.
You know what I mean? Like no other kids in the household, so like Ava kind of gets treated like the only child. Yeah. So of course, like she gets treated more maturely than she would have if she were the youngest child of 3 in the household. But anyway.
Speaking of phones, my very first phone was given to me by Maria.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's call Maria and confirm. No, I'm just kidding.
What kind of phone was it?
It was the Kick or something, wasn't it?
My sister gave you that?
Mm-hmm. It was like prepaid phone of some sort.
I mean, she did have a lot of prepaid phones back then.
She did have a lot of.
She had a lot of track phones.
She did. What the fuck?
Well, she'd break them all the time, or your mom would break them, or. Bolin.
I think he scratched himself for.
He's down here.
What you doing, buddy? You okay?
He was messing with me a little bit, sniffing.
Aww. So how was your week, Brian?
It's been going great. I mean, working out, hanging out with some awesome people over last weekend, hanging out with some awesome people here this weekend. So can't really complain.
Yeah, good.
Your week? You're like, what did I do this week?
I've been sick all week, so it's really sucked. And it was a hard week. I was telling Kelsey how I'm really good at locking away my emotions and really pushing them, stuffing them really deep down. I don't know. I can be cold. I really can. You can be my best friend one day and you fuck me over. I can act like I never met you the next day. I can be that cold. And I feel like going through this process, I've really locked away my feelings. And I've even texted Kelsey last week. I need to cry. I have so much to feel, but I can't get it out. I need a healthy way to get this out. And I just was stretching one night. I was stretching on Monday, I think. And it just released. They
say that tension in your muscles can release.
I was stretching, and then this song came on, and I just bawled my eyes out. And so the last time I cried, and then I think it was Thursday. I was lying on Jose's side of the bed, and it just hit me, and I cried for an hour and a half. But I really needed that. Like, I hadn't cried in, like, over a month. Which, I mean, for a guy, I don't know if that, like... But, like, for a girl, like, for me... like
a month is a long time.
An avid crier. Like,
yeah. An avid crier.
A month and a half is a long time for me not to cry.
A woman with a subscription to crying.
Yeah. On Sad Bitch Island all the time.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
So, it just felt really good releasing all that.
No, yeah, I mean, it's very healthy to cry, men and women.
Yeah.
I mean...
When was the last time you cried?
I want to say... maybe a year or two ago.
Oh my god!
Shut up!
And it's not even like I'm being proud about this. I mean, there's just lots of things happening. I know I was
Try stretching.
I was talking to you guys a little bit at the break about how like I had to switch careers, and there's just a lot of things happening caused by myself, of course, and those were periods of times where I was crying almost every day. So, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
So
I think when Luis was here, he was like, "Oh, a few days ago," and we're like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because I listened to a song."
Hey, songs will do that to you.
Yeah. So maybe you need to listen to that song that he was talking about.
I'm not listening to no damn Nickelback.
Prison Gates.
No, it's been a year. I mean, I probably should cry tonight here live
on the podcast. Brian crying. But that kind of rhymes.
Brian crying.
And scene.
Last time I cried was last night at the ball. They were playing Ava's video, her tribute video, and there was not a dry eye in the house, let me tell you. And my sister was next to me and she was crying. Oh, and I also married my sister and her fiance, so congratulations to them. And I cried while I was marrying them, so I cried 2 times last night, so that was my last time.
That's awesome.
Ryan, we gotta get you to cry.
Yeah.
All right, start. Let it go. Let's do it.
I don't know.
Do you prefer pain or pleasure?
I didn't know you could cry with pleasure.
When it comes to crying,
like, I don't know.
What's the context here?
maybe,
so how'd you grow up, though? That's what it is.
Well, we talked a little bit about that in my last episode, the last time that I was on this podcast. You know, religious household, parent of immigrants. So there you go. Fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks. Or just go back and listen. Anywho, did we have anything else? The only other thing I had was like suicide rates for men are higher than women right now. And I think a lot of studies have shown that it's tied to loneliness and not being able to be vulnerable with people. And not only just being vulnerable, but being able to share things that you're ashamed of. Like, I feel like we have been able to share things we're ashamed of, or like me and Maria can share things that we're ashamed of with each other. But I don't see really men sharing things that they're ashamed of with other men for the fear of being shamed, obviously. And with that comes loneliness, because then you feel like you're the only one. But I think hopefully with social media, that's getting a little bit better. So, like, kind of like in the context of mental health, how that's gotten more coverage on social media, and you've been able to connect with other people about your mental health struggles. Hopefully that connects more men together. If men are being more vulnerable on social media, then they know that they can be more vulnerable. But yeah, suicide rates are very high for men right now, and that's very sad, and there's a lot of things to blame for that. Do you guys have anything to add to that? Because I have one more thing after that. It's not related.
No, I mean, when I was a teenager, I felt the most depressed in my life, even though I didn't necessarily, and that's the messed up part, was like, in the surface, I would be fine, just chilling, but in isolation, it was very difficult. So I think that being a man and being able to show vulnerableness at that time was just frowned upon, you know. And there were things that were affecting me in my life that I wish I could have shared with individuals, but because I was a teenager and in that time I just didn't. So just suffering in silence type of deal.
You feel like it was like a suck it up kind of mentality, like,
yeah,
just move on?
Yeah, because like, I don't know, I've also been told that it's hard to read me sometimes, which is fine, or it's also hard to know like what I'm thinking at times, which is fine. I don't know, but everything's
like
fine.
valid, I guess. Valid, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. So I think it was more of like a defensive mechanism to be like, okay, I'm good. Even though I'm suffering in isolation, I'm fine. So
yeah.
keep it
Let's
pushing.
normalize when someone asks you if you're okay, not saying I'm fine.
Right. Because that's a lot of the responses I would give. I'm fine. Everything's good. You know.
Yeah, actually, there's a podcast. We've talked about this on the podcast before. There's a podcast called Terrible Thanks for Asking. And it's the name of the podcast is rooted in like, make it normal to be able to say, I'm actually doing terrible, but thank you for asking. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't need to elaborate, but I can be honest and say that I'm actually doing terrible.
Right. I was going to say, I think you mentioned in one of the past episodes is in a heterosexual partnership, the dad is the daughter's first impression of a man, and like a woman or the mom is the first impression of a woman to the male. But also in the sense of like friendships too, like you can learn to be vulnerable with a daughter and a mother. Like that's your first friend. And same thing with like a son and his father. That's your first friend.
Yeah.
And then even if you have siblings, they become your first friends. But again, your siblings when they're younger, they're a reflection of your parents. So how you treat your son is a direct correlation to how he's going to have his male friendships in the future.
Oh. Absolutely.
And same thing with their mom.
Absolutely. Yep.
So like, you know, if your dad never showed you, you know, if he was always the authoritarian, could never cry, could never be vulnerable, could never give you grace for your mistakes, then you kind of don't really know how to form another friendship with another male.
I guess that makes total sense. I mean, my dad, he's Central American AF. And so over there, it's machismo culture. A lot of like, true man's worth is how they work. And that's how a man is measured. So that's what I was taught. So, you know.
Are you a workaholic?
I used to, but then I discovered self-worth for myself. But yes, that's what I did at Panera Bread. That was my job before my current one, or my current field, I guess, if you will. But yeah, I never minded killing myself for 70 hours just to get it done.
Because it was noble.
So,
yeah.
Wow.
But then, fuck that. And
you live and you learn.
Yeah. No, I never would have thought of myself of being at a 9-to-5, but you know, it's got its positives and its negatives. So,
do you guys ever think about your parents having friends?
Yeah, I think about that all the time.
How are those friendships?
Very different than the friendships I have currently. My mom, she's very religious. Went to church. That's where she met a lot of the friends. If it wasn't about talking about Jesus and this, that, and the third, it wasn't a friendship. So my dad has a lot of family friends. Like his friends are his family. So that...
I've said before that I don't believe that my parents are very emotionally intelligent, and I think that blocks them from having deep, meaningful friendships. They do have a couple of good friends who are great friends to them, but I don't think that they're very great friends to the friends. Like, my parents aren't great friends to the friends. I think they can do better. But I think my parents have been through a lot of stuff that has really stunted their growth as people in the world. And I think they'd be in a different place emotionally, intelligently, if it weren't for those things that have stunted their growth.
Yeah. I would say that my dad, he kind of has those friendships where it's like he can go years without talking to him, but then once they link up, it's like the same, you know, stuff. And like, I remember we were in Mexico and this random guy showed up. And then my dad's like, "Oh, this used to be my best friend." And I'm like, "You never mentioned this man. You've never said a single thing about him.
Who is this?
I love this man. He's my best friend." Like, and then they got drunk together, and I'm like,
"Oh my gosh,
what? You know, like that's your best friend? We've never met him until now."
But those are guy friendships, I think.
Exactly. No, exactly it. And my mom, I would say, I feel like when we were growing up, she was so focused on raising us that she almost couldn't have significant friendships. Whereas now that we're all older and out of the house, now she has those significant friendships, which some are like blood related and some aren't blood related. And I'm actually like really happy about that. Like, she has people, like she'll literally have friends, like Gabby's mom. That's like one of my mom's best friends. They'll just call each other up and just talk for hours. And just like update each other and just talk about their anxieties, their fears, you know, raising kids still. Like, and I love that for her.
Yeah.
One thing that I would like to add to this pod is that I recently
saw 420
pod.
It is actually 420.
I thought it was Tuesday the 23rd.
Oh yeah.
No,
Tuesday the 23rd.
It could be wrong. I don't know if it's the 23rd, 24th.
Yeah, I think it is 23rd.
It's the 23rd. Yeah.
Let's go.
Boy math.
Boy math.
One of the things.
Make it till you make it. Sorry.
One of the.
Let's just keep cutting Brian off.
Please do not let me talk on.
I'm Brian, and this is Here We Grow podcast.
Do not let the guest talk on this podcast, please.
Go ahead.
One of the statistics that I saw was that like once a man gets married, and this is with heterosexual marriages, they kind of stop having friends because their partner fills that void. But I think it is very healthy. I don't know if this is a PSA to whomever, for a guy to go out there and make friends, and for the wives to let them make friends, because what happens is they don't have that person to be emotional with or to have a connection with, so it becomes the wife. And I don't know about you guys, but some personal space is always appreciative.
Yes.
And that causes some marriages to go towards divorce.
Yeah.
Don't know if this was going to be part of the conversation, but what are your guys' thoughts on that?
No, yeah, that was in my research about like you had said it earlier in the podcast, like your partner becomes, for men, your partner becomes your best friend, and that's fine. You should be best friends with your partner, but also
you guys don't ever talk, don't ever do anything.
No. But also, like I have said to Travis before, like if there's stuff that you can't tell me, that's okay, but just tell someone.
Right.
I don't have to be the one you tell everyone to, and I'm okay with that. Like if there's something you need to say, but you're afraid that whatever you're going to say is going to hurt me, or whatever you're going to say is too shameful to you and you need to say it to someone else, then by all means do that, but just say it to someone. Don't hold it in. And so I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. They should have separate friend groups. They should have separate hobbies, separate things that, or even not even hobbies. Like, let me just read a book for an hour and you go play your games or go do whatever. That's very healthy. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it has been a problem too when you are so reliant on your partner for everything and it's not healthy.
And you, by everything, you mean emotionally, like happiness.
Emotionally, happiness. I mean, they're your sole provider of everything that you think you
need.
Codependent.
Yeah.
Yes, it turned into a codependency, and that's not good.
Yeah. And that's not good.
And that's no good. That's no good. However, it is very, like I said, like toxic. I mean, on both sides, really, where a partner wants to be everything, and that's not a healthy mindset.
You put yourself in the position where I am your everything, and that's your only choice.
Yeah, like I'm your everything. You don't need anyone else. It's like no, that's a terrible mindset to have.
Yeah,
don't think that way.
I agree.
Yeah,
yeah.
Everyone should have a village.
Yeah, absolutely.
And put effort in your village.
And put effort in your village.
And also,
T-shirt.
Like, if you really like love and trust your partner when they say like this friend is not good for you. Like I've had to say things to Travis where I'm like, hey, this friend is not good for you. Like you should not be friends with this person. You should not be even acquaintances with this person. And none of the people we've already talked about today, obviously, but and he's like, yeah, you're right, but then still acquaints with them. And I'm just like, what are you doing? This is not healthy.
I don't know if I want to talk about it.
Talk about it.
And cut it later.
Okay, well, I was going to say, like, obviously, my ex-partner and I have been together for a long time. So, like, you kind of form the same friend groups, or, like, they kind of forge together, or you meet people at the same time. And I've just noticed that some of those people still hang out with him. And my initial thought is like, what the hell? He's the enemy. But I mean, not that there's any sides, but I gave them grace by saying, you know what? I understand that genuine male friendship is hard to find. And if that's what my ex-partner needs right now is a positive male friendship, and that's who he sees it in, then okay, I hope he does.
Yeah. Yeah, and like kind of what you were saying earlier when we were on the phone today was like who someone is in a friendship and who someone is in a relationship can be two different things.
Totally different things, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were you going to say something, Brian?
No, I mean, definitely like what you guys basically said. Absolutely.
Happy Earth Day.
Yeah, I took a look at that. It was Monday. Like an important.
It's half off at the zoo.
Yeah.
According to Stephanie.
Well, if you have Medicaid.
Oh. Never mind.
You or someone in your household.
Well, this will be Medicaid. On Tuesday. Earth Day would already pass.
Earth Day. So another thing that I found on the Dr. Robert Levant's research was that where traditional masculinity and like where toxic masculinity comes from, the main source is like the hatred of women or the hatred of all things female. Not the hatred of women. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The hatred of all things feminine. So, you raise young boys to say, don't cry, don't act like a girl, don't be a wuss, don't dress like a girl, don't scream like a girl, don't laugh like a girl, like don't do anything like a girl. Like it's so drilled and ingrained to you that you cannot do anything that's feminine, that some men end up inadvertently hating women and then get into relationships with women that they then resent or don't respect enough to be in a successful relationship. Mm-hmm. Thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's the institution of it, right? So when you get the majority of boys in your class, if you will, under that doctrine, right? It becomes like a disease, and then it just spreads out throughout everyone.
That's true. I never thought.
And
it
could
like
also affect someone that was just raised not to think that way. So
yeah, that's true. Like if someone was raised without those morals, but then they go to school with a bunch of boys that were, it can bleed into their principles as well.
We've got some rework of society to do, guys.
We are society. Yeah.
No, I mean, I was never taught to like, well, my mom was religious, and it's not that she hated specific people, but I never learned about like sexism or homophobia until I went to school. And that's when I learned about that. Like I wasn't raised on that. So I think, I don't know, back to the institution thing, right? So
yeah, that's true. I guess it can work both ways in that way then, that like at home you may not learn that homophobia is not okay, but then at school you did learn that homophobia was not okay.
But also it's like you want to fit in too, and especially like as a kid, you're going to go with the wave. You're going to go with what everyone else is saying. Yeah. You're not going to be the one to stick out.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a herd mentality.
Because there are so many things that I did as a teenager, child, that I would never do now. But I mean, I did it because everyone else did. So
yeah. Well, and back then, like it was less sensitive. Like we were what's the word? Like society was less sensitive to those topics 10, 15 years ago than they are today.
Not really. I think it's more that nowadays people speak out on it, and nowadays we're more
likely get away with it.
We're more likely to be like, no, don't say that. What are you talking about?
Like holding accountability.
Yeah, versus back then where people would just allow and tolerate that. So it's not necessarily that people were less sensitive. People just tolerated that. Nowadays, it doesn't
fly. It's not tolerated. Yeah, you're right.
And, it's our generation here that kind of started that wavelength, and the younger generations are even more rowdy about it. So it's not that the kids are sensitive. It's just we don't tolerate it. We will fight you about it.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah. I wish I would have stopped some homophobia, some sexism in school? Yes. But did I? No. But I don't know.
You're a kid.
Yeah. And was it my job to be the police? No. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I have anything else. I think we've said everything.
I reread the article that I was going to talk about. Yeah. You pretty much said everything. Yeah. No, that's it.
It's either we have the same article or I say everything that's on the article.
Yeah. I'm like, well, that's it.
Do you guys want to talk about our friendships during teenage years?
Yeah, because we're males. We're females.
We're
You're
men.
a male.
We're all men here.
Yeah, because
we're all men here.
The positive friendships between male and a female. So yeah, we were all friends in high school, and I would say that you and Joseph weren't your typical.
Shout out to Joseph.
Yeah.
Shout out Joseph.
You guys were very, at least to me as a teenager, I feel like you guys were very in tune with your own feelings and like your own, like you guys were very confident about who you guys were as teenage boys. And I think because you never wavered from who you were, it made you even more like as a safe space.
Or like almost like a look up to, like,
yeah,
or for reassurance.
Yeah. And it was never like weird or anything. It was never, I don't know, it was just genuine friendship.
Yeah, I mean, we would all hang out in Broad Ripple Village, and the people of McDonald's probably hated us for that, but the times that we'd get kicked out, right? But
yeah, we'd hang out just at McDonald's. It's funny. Or in Brian's Jeep.
Yep. That's full circle that we both own a Jeep now.
Yeah.
And like our first.
You gotta ride in our Jeep now.
Yeah,
of course, but
we gotta go pick you up.
Hey, that
take it to Taco
Jeep,
Bell.
That first Jeep was interesting.
So it was a good Jeep though.
No,
like it was Liberty.
No, it was a Grand
Cherokee.
Grand Cherokee, yeah.
But it belonged to my uncle. And so my uncle got into like 2 accidents back to back. And then he sold it to my mom for like the low. So then I ended up, I don't know if you guys remember, it had a dent in like the back right or back left. And then at the front, it had a dent. It was crazy.
Yeah,
I
just remember piling in.
Back then. Yeah, like.
I just remember piling in, sitting on each other's laps. Like definitely not riding legal.
The stupid thing at the top was coming out.
Yep,
yeah,
I remember that.
Falling down off the top, the roof.
I remember, so like these bitches would always throw surprise birthday parties for each other, and not once did they ever do it for me. And when I brought it up, Kelsey was like, well, your birthday's in the wintertime. I'm like, how the fuck is that my fault? Like, what do you mean?
It's your fault. You chose to be born during winter.
Okay, Brian, where did we always have surprise birthday parties?
At the the gazebo?
The gazebo on the Monon
Trail.
We can't do that in January.
Okay, so finally after I brought it up, so one year I think Brian was probably a senior and I was probably a freshman, so you guys were juniors. We went to like Kroger and bought popsicles in the winter, and then we just piled into Brian's car and just ate popsicles.
And it was a 12-pack of popsicles. We had to like down them all so that they wouldn't melt. But yeah,
melt in the wintertime.
Yeah, I mean, it's still in Brian's car. They would melt, and they were sugar free, but they were so good. I remember them being sugar free. They're so good.
Yeah, we were just in Brian's car, just eating popsicles for my birthday.
Yep. I remember we would get like a cake and a pack of forks, and just go at the cake on the plate that it came on with the pack of forks.
Yeah.
You know,
we can't afford plates.
You know, a thing that came up, a memory.
I just unlocked the memory.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
2 memories, one at a time.
on Facebook, we were such poetic dweebs. You know how like it says memories on there? Bro, tell me why we were so poetic, all of us, but like you would tag us in a lot of your like poems
like notes and stuff.
Notes.
Notes? I was trying to say notes, but I said poets' notes.
And I came across the memories and stuff, and we were just some little poets like out here just going at it.
We thought we were the shit.
But then you would comment like the most random shit. Like if we read it now, it would make absolutely no sense.
Well, that's also because I've learned that like people deactivated accounts, so I was probably talking to someone, and it made me sound like an idiot that had no idea what I was commenting back to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What was your memory?
This one memory where we all skipped homecoming one year. And we like went to the woods.
Went to the woods.
We went to the woods and we like
so good.
Set up camp by the river.
No, but tell me why our dumbasses. Okay, so it was raining.
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, off the Monon, we had this trail that we found that went out to the water into the woods. Okay, so that's what the woods we're talking about. Not like out. This is off the Monon Trail in Broad Ripple.
No, off the woods, out the cabin.
Yeah, it's not Cabin in the Fever.
What were you saying? It was raining and what?
Well, yeah, it was raining, and our dumbasses, because we wanted a fire,
which we didn't get,
decided that it would be a smart decision to gather trash, aka plastic bottles, and light them on fire.
Oh my god!
So we were breathing in plastic.
Yep.
All of us.
But also
And
the trees were like high enough and almost protected us from the rain. Because I remember taking a
It
nap.
was just barely sprinkling on us.
Yeah, and we were like laying on the ground, and it was just so peaceful. Like
It
that's one of my
was.
best.
You could hear
memories
the
of high
water.
school. Yeah,
You could hear the water in the river. Also, we could hear the band playing at homecoming.
yeah.
And because it was raining, only the brass could play.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And that's why you guys didn't have to be there.
Well, I was in the brass section, but at
Oh.
the time, I don't know if anyone from band's listening, but I didn't really care for band. So that was
You
the
just skipped
decision.
it?
My decision.
What did Joseph play? I forgot.
The flute or something like that.
Okay, so then, yeah, he wouldn't have had to
Did he
go.
play the flute? Yeah, it was the flute. Yeah.
So he wouldn't have had to go. That's why
Mm.
he was there.
Mm.
Yeah, we just went out to the woods instead.
Core
Like, fuck
memory.
this. Fuck homecoming.
Yeah, no. So
Core
for those
memory for sure.
for those of you that didn't,
And we had a boombox too. We had
Absolutely.
a boombox. Do you remember
I
that?
don't remember that.
We brought a boombox out there to play music.
So yeah, for those of you that don't know, our school was considered a magnet school. So what had a couple of requirements. It's the School for Visual Arts and Performing Arts. One of the requirements is that you had to join one of those things in order to attend Broad Ripple High School. So because
Specialty.
yeah, it's a specialty. So in middle school, because I played the baritone, I really wanted to play the trumpet. That's what I tried out as, and so I got accepted into the music magnet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was in the art magnet. And then I transferred to humanities in my senior year.
Mm.
Because I didn't want to do art anymore.
What
Okay.
magnet were you?
Singing.
Oh.
Slinging. Like the podcast hasn't heard you sing
Choir.
before. As if we were going to ask you to sing right now. Do it. Silver Springs, go.
You could be my silver spring.
There we go. Nah, so yeah, that's why that happened. We went out to the woods.
I love
And
that
lit
day.
plastic
That was such a
things
good
on
day.
fire.
yeah.
And I think we had to like listen for the band to stop playing to know when to go,
Go
back.
Back, yes.
Yep. To ride the bus back.
Yeah,
or
to ride the
something.
bus back.
Yeah.
Yo, tell me why
Oh, so
sometimes
many
we
good
just
memories in
skip
high school.
school, go do something completely off the topic, and then come back and get
Get on the
a
bus.
Yep.
Ah, man, I've missed those high school days. I'm telling you, like once you guys all graduated, what the fuck was I even supposed to do there? Like,
well, it's hard when they graduated for us.
yeah.
When Brian and Joseph graduated, it was hard for
when
us.
you guys left, I had nobody.
Yeah.
I had to be friends with my own friend group.
How dare you?
How
my
dare you make me be
God.
friends with my own friends?
No, it's true
funny.
though. I didn't really have friends like in my own grade up until you guys left.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need to.
Well, then you made friends.
I have junior and senior friends. Like,
yeah.
I don't need you guys, but
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No,
Yeah.
I know. It was good.
You were sophomore when senior, junior, right?
No,
2 years.
I was a freshman, junior, senior.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
But you met me as an 8th grader, so you would have been a junior,
that's right. Mm.
and they were sophomores.
Another memory is I don't remember the context of this, but we all packed you and Maria's room for a party of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
and we took a picture.
We have
What-
a picture, yeah.
What was that? What was the context there?
It was Angelica's
That was my
birthday,
birthday.
and I don't know. We wanted a group picture, so we all packed in
It
there.
was
So
And
a
iconic.
squad.
I'll post it
There
on
was
the
so
on the-
many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post it on the Instagram for this episode posting.
I feel like that was probably the last time all of my friend groups meshed together.
Mm.
Now I can't get them to do that. Like I had my recent birthday party back in January,
Mm.
and I feel like you girls were like so distant from each other, and it was kind of awkward. I'm like, talk to each other. My God.
First of all,
I
Angelica
had-
wasn't even there in the beginning. She didn't come out of the bathroom
So
until like
make
20
friends.
minutes after.
Make friends. Talk to
Mingle.
mingle. I shouldn't have to be there.
Mingle, talk about anything.
Literally.
Do you have hobbies? What do you,
Do you
where
have
do you
hobbies?
work?
What? Yeah, what do you do for work?
Did you grow up in Indianapolis your whole life?
Are you a workaholic? How did you grow up? Was your mom abusive?
What's
How's-
your attachment style?
how's
What's
your
attachment
family?
style? That's funny.
Do you have kids?
Yeah. No, like I have like my coworkers over here and my childhood friends over here and my adult friends over here and my neighbors over here. And I'm like, guys, talk.
Yeah. Well, eventually we started mixing because, like, I have met Jordan and Jess before, and we started talking, and then
Yeah.
Sophia, you know, it got there eventually. It just took a little time.
They just needed to warm up.
Comfortable. Also, like, we didn't know we didn't know the person whose house we were in. Like, that was another factor. Like,
Maybe I just get too comfortable. Like with when I go somewhere, I'm like, I make friends with everyone. Like,
I mean,
I'm making a point to talk
I
to
can
everyone.
make friends with everyone, but I'm not like just automatically like thinking that when I first go into it. Oh, look at this picture I just found on Angelica's Facebook.
Oh, we were taking selfies that day.
Yep.
So-
Look!
Yeah, there's multiple of us.
Wow, we
Oh
were
my God.
iconic.
So emo. That's so funny. I was trying to find the group picture we were talking about, and that's what I ended up on.
Name a more iconic picture.
Yeah.
Name a
Oh,
more
I'll
Iconic
wait.
duo.
I'll
Yeah.
wait.
Oh,
I'll wait.
You should post that.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
Here it is.
Yes. Yes.
Look, you're barely peeking out right here.
Just in the back.
Oh yeah.
So
As
good.
squad, we
Yeah.
rolled in deep.
Yep.
Good times.
Man, I hope you guys enjoyed us looking at pictures you didn't see.
No, we'll post some.
Yeah.
Some.
Or I'll cut some of that out too.
Yeah, because we've been friends for
Bolin, naughty
14
boy.
years, maybe.
Mhm.
It's like, I'm gonna
12
go
to
outside and dig up my
14
bow.
years.
Yeah, our friendship is a teenager going through it right now. So
Yeah. All right. This has been the Here We Go podcast with Brian, Kelsey, and myself, Angelica. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed our topic of male and female friendships.
Yeah.
And next episode, we're going to go see Ladies in Tangents. We're
Yes.
really excited about that. Hopefully, if you have any questions, direct them to Brian because this is his podcast. And wow. Okay.
and let that be the sign that you do not direct it to me.
I just knocked over my full Stanley Cup, like all over the floor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch this now.
I think we need a Stanley Cup sponsorship because of that.
Right? Well, mine's
Amen.
not real, but it's okay.
And let this tell you that a friendship between females and males and a long-lasting, genuine, with an effort is possible. You can do this.
Yep.
Help me.
And Brian's one of those friendships that we talked about. The podcast has brought us closer to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Help me. I'm scared.
Okay.
All right, Brian.
All
see if we have you on
right.
again.
No one's coming to help you.
They're hearing this on
It's
Tuesday.
3 days later, or
Yeah.
5 days later, or whatever. Wait, today's Saturday. I keep thinking today's Friday.
I just hope you guys have never heard any true crime podcast or anything, because then I'd be really afraid.
Oh, that's what's into like all the time.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, documentaries and shit.
Well, it was nice talking to you guys while I
Nice.
lasted.
It was
Knowing
nice
ya.
talking to you too.
It was truly nice. All right, guys.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
No.
Like, right
Yeah,
here.
All right, y'all. We're out.
Bye.
Bye.